Welcome back, everybody. Our next guest is a Canadian born to Egyptian parents with French chef training who spent the majority of his career cooking Italian food. The results of this beautiful combination are the amazing culinary creations featured in his new cookbook, Eat Habibi Eat, Fresh Recipes for Modern Egyptian Cooking. Please join me in welcoming Shahir Massoud to the show. Hi, Shahir.
Hello, good to see you guys.
Hi, Shahir. Congratulations on your first cookbook. This is so exciting. And I love the
Thank you.
title, Eat Habibi
Yeah,
Eat. And the reason I love it, not only because you wrote it, is because I used to go to this restaurant in Vancouver. I loved it. We were regulars there. And the manager, whenever we walked in, would say, Habibi, nice to see you. Sit over here,
of
Habibi. What
course.
would you like today? And I never knew what Habibi meant. I knew it was a term of endearment, I think, but I never knew the
Yeah.
definition. So what does it mean? Eat Habibi Eat.
No, Lenny, for sure the manager liked you. And that is the ultimate term of endearment. So a Habibi could be your kids, it could be your spouse, it could be your best friend, it could be your customer in your restaurant, it could be the mailman. It's just the catch-all phrase of my friend, come sit, eat. So absolutely it's a term of endearment. And growing up as kids, as a hyperactive kid, I'm always running around at dinner time, and my mother would scream every night, eat, Habibi, eat, sit down. I mean, the title could have been sit down. Eat, Habibi, eat. So that's just every Middle Eastern mother with their hyperactive children is screaming, eat, Habibi, just sit down. So
That's
that's the term.
adorable.
So you have training in French and Italian cuisine, and you combine that with your family's heritage to create some what look to be gorgeous dishes. Let's talk about the first one, this pink and gold beet dip. Tell us all about it.
So a beet dip, usually it's just the red beets, very
Mm.
typical in terms of a spread that you would see in an Egyptian meal. Of course, you're going to see hummus and baba ganoush and different little appetizers, but oftentimes people forget about a beet dip. You'll see this often in Cairo restaurants and in Egyptian homes. What I wanted to do was have two different colors and do a little tie-dye effect. So
Oh,
I'd roast the beets separately, the red ones and the yellow ones, roast them till tender and blend them separately so that I don't cross the colors. So all these beets have been pureed with tahini, with yogurt, with spices,
oh,
super beautiful. And what I do when I plate it up, I'll put a little bit of the red beets on one side. And it's a little bit tangy from the yogurt. There's cumin and coriander in there. Then I get the yellow beets. So it's worth the extra step to
oh,
do two different ones. And I kind of put them
yeah.
together, and then I can kind of do a little tie-dye effect and kind of swoop it, swirl
Oh
it.
my
That looks so
gosh.
good.
And then you need
Mm.
garnish. I like to put a little bit of za'atar, that beautiful thyme and sesame seed and the classic za'atar. A little bit of texture. So I like toasted pine nuts, and you always toast nuts to bring out their natural oils,
Ah.
bring out their flavor. So we want texture when we scoop into this beet dip, and then some fresh chive. And maybe that's a more of a French thing. So all these recipes have little twists, and then good quality olive oil, and be generous with the olive oil. This is going to give it real shine and richness. Now, this is super, super important in Egyptian cuisine, the bread. This is called baladi bread. It's a whole wheat pita. There's a recipe for this in the book as well. You can make this at home. This beautiful, light, puffy pita. You can make this at home in your oven, no special equipment required. I'm telling you, it's 100% whole wheat flour, water, yeast, simple as that. And you get this nutty, healthy bread with this beautiful pocket. Look at the kind of cell structure of this bread. And then you're supposed to get in there,
Stop.
dunk, and eat.
So hungry.
Put feta cheese in this bread too. That's the way to do it.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, Shahir, I don't cook with beets, but if I were to try to, do you have any tips
Mhm.
to help me avoid getting the whole kitchen and everything else like purple?
You should never boil your beets. So gloves are helpful, and never boil because then the pink gets everywhere. Slow roast your beets. I mean, I wrap these in foil and roast them at 400 for almost 2 hours till they're fork tender. And what that does is it keeps their natural sweetness and flavor concentrated in the beet. If you've ever had an underwhelming beet, it's probably because it was boiled and all the flavor seeped out into the water. So that's no good.
Got it.
Oh, this is a hot tip.
So much learning.
Okay, Shahir, let the learning continue because you're going to
Yeah.
show us your twist on Egypt's national dish, koshary. But before you show us the twist, will you sort of take us through what the classic version is?
If you take a trip to downtown Cairo, you'll see these stalls everywhere. This is a classic street food. You'll get an enormous portion for the equivalent of like $1 Canadian. And it sounds weird. It's Egyptian rice with tomato sauce and pasta on top of the rice. I know, follow me though. I know. Crispy chickpeas, caramelized onions, and a kind of tangy, spicy condiment on top called daka. And daka is a vinegary, chili-based kind of, it just gives it tang and it gives it heat. And you mix up the whole thing and you just chow down. And it sounds so strange because it's carbs on carbs. But quite frankly, I've been locked in my house for a year and a half. I'm eating carbs and carbs. I give up. I don't care. But it works.
Oh my gosh, I'm in. I want to try it so bad. So your version, it's the rice, it's the pasta. You do the chickpeas too?
I do the chickpeas. Now, I kind of do my pasta almost like I would do in my Italian restaurant days. So I sauce it like I would like a ragu. And I made a ragu out of red lentils, and I spiked that ragu with harissa. So harissa is a spicy condiment that I make with roasted red peppers, chilies, spices, garlic. So it's kind of like a spicy, earthy tomato sauce in that pasta. And my daka, that's my tangy condiment, is also a bit different because I do have vinegar, I do have chili and garlic and spices. I put a little beef stock in there too. So there's umami, there's like another layer. It's unbelievable. Now, if you want to keep yours totally vegetarian, veggie stock also is a great idea, but that just gives it another layer. And what you do, you take that condiment and spoon it all over the place. Put it all over the rice, all over the pasta, crispy chickpeas.
Can we go back to the Egyptian rice though? Because it is a traditional side dish, and what's in it?
So Egyptian rice, this is another weird twist, but actually I do my Egyptian rice quite classically in the book. First step, vermicelli noodles, those beautiful, super thin, almost angel hair noodles. You chop them up and you sweat them in butter and they become golden brown. Then the rice goes in, then the water goes in, and you cook the rice and the vermicelli noodles together. So actually, the more I think about this dish is carb on carb on carb, which is cool. It works. It's delish.
Right.
But that Egyptian rice with the vermicelli and the rice is a beautiful side dish for kebabs or for roasted meats or for, I mean, that's a standard Egyptian side dish that you could serve with any entree. It's really, really a cool trick to try.
Whoa. Now, Shahir, I want to talk, you hit on a few things. Your dishes, you're taking a lot of classic dishes from kind of, Italy, France, and Egypt, and you're making them your own, which I love, which I think is so great. But I want to know if you sort of come across people who ask you if your dishes are authentic or not.
I've noticed that younger Egyptian people, like my generation, actually are excited about this because for once our food is kind of sexy. It's really like this could be in a cool, trendy restaurant. So they're like, oh my God, someone's made my grandma's food kind of exciting, kind of modern. And on the other side, some of the older Egyptians, like my mother got the book. She called me an hour later and said, I love it. But I would change one thing. I said, Mom, stop. Stop.
It's perfect.
I said, Mom, it's in your hands. It's printed. It's finished. Like I had to explain to her, this isn't a faulty card. We don't do recalls on these things. It's finished. So I get that older Egyptian people are maybe confused, but I say in the book that these are recipes authentic to me. These are the kinds of things that only someone with my background could imagine. And it's meant to be that way. This isn't meant to be like, how would it exactly be my mom's way? It's not meant to be that.
Let's go back to the food, because I mean this has been a feast, and the final item is the beef hawawshi sandwiches.
Okay, so this is another street food classic, something you see all over. And that famous bread that I talked to you about, that whole wheat belly bread, is a must for this recipe as well. You hollow out your beautiful pita bread, and then you made a meat mixture. So this is typically with beef, ground beef, some bell pepper, some onions, some spices, some herbs, some chili, whatever. You put it in raw. Put the beef in raw. In the pita, but don't worry, guys.
Okay, keep going.
You put it in the pita raw, but don't worry, this isn't like a tartare sandwich. You put it in raw and you bake it together. You bake it together so the fat of the beef renders into the bread. The bread becomes crispy. The fat of the beef kind of sizzles and it cooks together. So now the edges of the bread are golden brown. The meat is cooked through, the onion, the peppers, and the pro move is you dunk it in tahini sauce, a little bit of hot sauce if you're into that kind of thing. You have to dunk it in tahini, maybe some lemon, and you have to do the dunk. This is the key part.
I truly feel like weak with excitement.
You know why it's genius is because you don't have to worry. Look how compact it is. You don't have to worry about the meat flying everywhere. It all bakes together, so it's all one unit. It comes out as a unit. Unity.
I want to shove it in my face so bad. Like, just shove it.
Okay, let's talk about harissa. You've mentioned it a couple of times. It's become quite a trendy condiment. I've seen food blogs posting about it, and then they're calling it like the new sriracha.
For sure.
What are some other uses for harissa?
Sriracha's out. It's all about harissa these days.
Okay.
Lainey, I'm going to send you a batch of my harissa. You're going to put your sriracha out the window. You're physically going to throw it out your kitchen window. You don't need it anymore.
Bring it then. Bring it.
Mix it in your mayo. Mix it in your yogurt for spicy yogurt condiment. Put it on your eggs. Dare I say it, on your pizza. Who knows? Like, we're getting crazy.
Shahir, you have given us a lot to think about and fight about. But we so appreciate your beautiful recipes. So thank you for being with us today. If you would like more information on these recipes, check our social media channels after the show. Shahir's book, Eat Habibi Eat, is available now. You have to go get it. And don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.